Hey everyone, this is John Bergman. I'm the Southwestern KHEAA Outreach Counselor, and today I'm here to talk to you all about Paying for College 101. I'm glad to be here with you all today. I'm glad the Warren County Public Library invited me to come in to talk to you all about the FAFSA process, about financial aid, and what is available to students. So let's get ahead and start and talk about financial aid in college. So again, my name is John Bergman. I actually work for Kentucky Higher Education Assistance Authority, and we are the state agency that promotes college access for the state of Kentucky. So if you ever heard of KHEAA Money, we are in charge of the KHEAA Money system. Also, just to let you know, I'm going to give you a little bit of head start right here, and we'll talk about more about paying for college. Now, give me a quick second real quick, and we will get back to that presentation. So again, we are the state agency that promotes college access for the state of Kentucky. We provide many different informational services for the state of Kentucky. Number one is our publication. So if you ever go to our website, you can actually find the college circuit. It's going to have information about grants, loans, scholarships, how to fill out the FAFSA. Also, you're going to find some information of like timelines, what a freshman should be doing in high school, what a sophomore, junior, senior should be doing while they're in high school as well. And of course, it's going to have more information about your KHEAA money. So again, your KHEAA stands for Kentucky Educational Excellence Scholarship, and we're going to go into detail about that scholarship throughout this presentation today. Also, you do have your outreach counselors. Now, I am one of those outreach counselors for the state of Kentucky. I am the Southwestern KHEAA Outreach Counselor, and I'm in charge of 7 different counties. And those 7 counties are Warren County, Logan County, Butler County, Christian County, Todd County, Simpson County, Muhlenberg County, and Christian County. So I work with all the high schools in those in that region there. Also, we do have our College Information Roadshow. So this is our bus that travels throughout the state of Kentucky. They all have 120 counties that they work with. And of course, you may have seen that bus on the road. Not only that, we do provide hands-on help. For example, we do help with the FAFSA. So if you are a senior this year, I will be at your schools to help you fill out the FAFSA. Now, again, due to COVID-19, we might be doing that online. So watch out for that, and you'll find out there might be a sign-up sheet there. Also, we do help with verification. So if you have been verified, we do help with that portion there. And of course, we do help with financial aid. So you might find information about grants and scholarships, especially your KHEAA money. Also, some information about loans, and we also have a savings plan trust in the state of Kentucky. So let's go ahead and get a head start on what you should be doing while you're in high school to prepare for college. So what should you as a student be looking for while you're looking for a college? Number one is make sure that it offers your major. Number two, the length of the program. So are you going for a technical program, or are you going for a 4-year degree? So you might decide that you might go to the community college for that technical program, or to get a head start on your general education credits. Or potentially you might decide to go to a 4-year university, get your 4-year degree, and then potentially go forth and get your master's degree and so forth, like a professional degree. Then you also need to look at the cost and affordability. Now, this is your biggest concern because you don't want to go into extreme debt. So you want to find an affordable education for yourself and also for that degree that you're going into. Also, think about location. Do you want to go far away from home, or do you want to stay close to home? Also, potentially the size of the school. Do you want to go to a university it's huge? So a school that has potentially 20,000 students, or would you like to go to a school that potentially has 2,000 to 3,000 students? So you need to find the option for you. Also, career and graduate school placement. You want to find a university that's going to have great credentials for the field that you want to go into, that they're known. Potentially, what is the graduation rate? Also, what is the graduation school placement rate for your field of interest from your schools? Also, diversity can be key. Do you want to go to a school that potentially is in a bigger city where you can actually find much diversity? And then finally, you have 2 other options too. Study abroad opportunities. Do you want to study abroad while you are in college? Not only that, learning assistance. So for example, if you have a learning disorder or learning disability, does your school accommodate to that? So there's the things that you should be thinking about when you're looking at your universities and also your colleges. But today I'm here to talk to you about financial aid. So first of all, every single student in the state of Kentucky, no matter how much their parents make or how much they make, they should fill out the FAFSA. Now, again, doesn't mean that everybody will, but I strongly suggest that anybody who plans on going to college should fill out a FAFSA. And here's why. Number one, you could become eligible for some grants. Now, grants are free money for you to go to college. So they don't have to be repaid. And of course, there's a lot of money that's available for students who plan on going to college. Then you're also going to have your scholarships. Your scholarships are academic or potentially merit or performance based. So you might get a scholarship for a high ACT result. You might get a scholarship for playing a sport or an instrument. And potentially also it could be merit based, so GPA wise as well. Then you're also going to have work study. Now, work study is when you find a job on campus. You can use that money towards your education, or you can get that money directly back to you in the form of a check. But just to let you know, if you find a job on campus, you do have to have a FAFSA on file. So no matter what, if you plan on finding a job at your university or your college, you do have to have a FAFSA on file. So even if your parents make $200,000 and you're not eligible for that grant money, you need to have a FAFSA on file to get a job on campus. Also, you're going to have your federal loans. Now, loans are something you do have to pay back, and there's an interest rate on those loans as well. We're going to talk about those interest rates today throughout this presentation. So there are several different sources of financial aid. Number one is going to be your government. So this is going to come from federal and state aid that comes from filling out the FAFSA. Now, we're going to go into detail about the FAFSA today. You're also going to have institutional aid, which is going to be your college or technical schools. So you can get a scholarship for your academics or your department, or potentially you might get a merit-based scholarship. But also there are going to be endowment scholarships as well. And these scholarships come from your university. Sometimes they're donation scholarships that might come from your department as well. Reach out to them to see what type of scholarships are available to you. Also, you're going to have your private scholarships. These are going to be your local, regional, state, and national scholarships. And finally, you have the military. Now, I'm not going to go into detail about the military today, but you can go to your recruiting office and find what kind of possibilities are available to you as a student to go to college and what they're offering. So you have the GI Bill, the Montgomery Bill, Post 9/11 Bill, which is both of those, the Montgomery Bill and the GI Bill. Sorry, the Montgomery Bill and also the Post 9/11 Bill are going to be your GI bills that you can pick out of. And then, of course, you have ROTC programs that offer some money at your universities and colleges, and also the Kentucky National Guard. Now, let's talk about private scholarships. Just to let you know, there are scholarships for everybody. You just have to find them. You have to research them. There's a lot of great websites that are out there, fastweb.com, scholarships.com. There are some apps, for example, Scholly. It is a great app. You do have to pay for that one, though, but it is a legitimate app that you can download and find scholarships. But again, there's a lot of free scholarship searches. Again, scholarships.com, fastweb.com, and also who I work for, KHEAA.com, which I'm going to provide at the very bottom of the screen, our website, KHEAA.com. Again, we have a national database on our website where you can explore KHEAA.com and our scholarship links. And for example, say you want to go into nursing and you want to say nursing scholarships. You can look up nursing scholarships and it will list a bunch of scholarships that are eligible for people who want to go into nursing. Also, we do have a book in the state of Kentucky. Now, this book is going to be found at your schools and also potentially at your libraries. So if you're trying to find this book, you could potentially find it at the library. Now, just to let you know, this book has over 5,000 Kentucky scholarships in it. It's based off of universities and also by counties. So say, for example, you are from Warren County. Now, just to let you know, if you look in this book, you can find Warren County and it will list every single scholarship that Warren County has to offer. It will tell you the name, how much it's worth, how many they give out, and also will tell you the criteria. So say, for example, it says that you have to go to a certain elementary school. You can actually see if you're eligible for that scholarship that way. And just to let you know, I know that potentially your schools are kind of closed, or potentially it's a hybrid where you're like, okay, I totally forgot to look for this book today in the guidance office. So this book can actually be found online as well. And again, if you go to the KHEAA website, KHEAA.com, which is the very bottom of the screen, you can actually find this book. And again, it does list over 5,000 Kentucky scholarships in it. My favorite part is the control find function on our website. So if you download this PDF and push control find, you will find, and you put down like Warren County, you will find what scholarships that Warren County has to offer. Also, you want to potentially looking for your employer. So if you're a student or your parents have a job, check to see if their work offers any type of scholarships. For example, my best friend from high school, his parents' work offered him $10,000 a year to go to college for 4 years. And that's impressive. So again, check with your employees and also, your employers and also your parents' employers as well. Also check with the public library. You might find a bulletin board that has some information about a scholarship there. Organization that you belong to. So potentially you might be a part of FFA, FBLA, or potentially DECA. There are some local, regional, state, and national scholarships you can apply for. And also scholarship apps. Like I mentioned earlier, you were going to have My Scholarly, which again does cost some money, but it is a great scholarship app that you can use. And of course, watch out, don't pay for help. For example, if someone says, hey, we want to have, you're a finalist for this scholarship, and the only thing you have to do is pay $50. That is a scam. Do not fall for those scholarships. Your scholarships are not going to cost you anything. If anything, you win that scholarship and you get some extra money. But not only that, also beware of these scholarships too that are asking for a lot of personal information. For example, watch out if you're actually getting some information about, hey, we need your social security number. You need to watch out for that. Again, a lot of your scholarships are not going to be asking for that information, so don't fall for that. Also, if you have some questions about the legitimacy of some scholarships, reach out to your guidance counselors or your school counselors or your college or career counselors. And also reach out to me, and I can talk to you about these scholarships as well. And of course, don't fall for people who said, hey, I can do the FAFSA for you. Again, there are a lot of people who will do this for free. So again, just be very cautious about the information you are giving out to people. Again, there are a lot of great resources in the state of Kentucky, but make sure they are legitimate on people who are actually helping you with the FAFSA, because you don't want to give your personal information to anybody. Now, of course, we're going to talk about the FAFSA. Now, the FAFSA stands for the Free Application for Federal Student Aid. It is the application you're going to fill out to actually obtain some grant monies, loan money, and potentially work-study money. So again, just to give you a heads up, the website for the FAFSA is fafsa.gov. Okay, it is a governmental website. Do not go to Google and just search for the FAFSA. And one of the first things that might show up is freeapplication.com. Do not fall for those fake websites. You're providing them information that it's not theirs, and you have to watch out for that. So the correct website is FAFSA, FAFSA.gov. And again, you'll go to that website to fill out the FAFSA. Again, it's a governmental website. But also, here are some items that you're going to need when you're filling out the FAFSA. Number one, you're going to need an email address, a personal email address. So the parent has to have one and the student has to have one. Also, have your phone number available as well. You're going to have to create something called an FSA ID. That is a username and password to log on to the FAFSA. Not only will you use it to log on to the FAFSA, you'll use it as your electronic signature at the very end of the FAFSA. Also, you're going to have your social security number. You're going to have to potentially have your alien registration number if you're not a U.S. citizen. Also, you're going to be using 2019 tax forms. So you're going to need to have your 1040s, but also your W-2s as well, and other records of money earned. So for example, a 1099. Potentially, you're going to have your bank statements because the FAFSA asks for information about how much money is in your bank account. Potentially also, they're going to ask you about assets. So make sure you know how much potentially if you have a house that you don't live in, and it's off your property, potentially that is going to be seen as an asset. So you're going to have to know how much that is worth as well. And of course, records of untaxed income. And finally, you're going to have the parent's date of birth, social security number, marital status, and date of parents' marriage date, divorce date, or if they were widowed. So again, that is information that is needed when completing the FAFSA. Again, this is the federal government asking for this information, and they have to have it for a complete FAFSA. But also, I'm going to let you know, too, I know a lot of students don't like to use a PC or potentially a laptop, and they like to use their phones. And that's perfectly fine. There is an app for the FAFSA now. It is called My Student Aid, and you can actually download that app today if you'd like. Its ability to begin, complete, and save the FAFSA. It also gives you a timeline as well, telling you what you can do after completing the FAFSA as well. So again, like I told you all earlier, the FAFSA is an application process. It is required for federal, state, and most institutional aid. So in some cases, there are some universities that will give out some institutional aid, but you have to have a FAFSA on file. And this is why I strongly suggest that anyone who plans on going to college, they fill out a FAFSA. So you're going to apply for the FAFSA as soon as possible starting October 1st. So if you're a senior this year, the FAFSA will not open up for you until October 1st. And you're applying for the 21-22 school year, because again, you will be a freshman when you are in the 21-22 school year. Now, again, if you filled out the FAFSA already and you filled out the 2021 application, you have done the wrong application, because if you're going to be a freshman next year in college, you're going to have to fill out the 21-22 FAFSA. And again, that opens up on October 1st. Now, just to give you a heads up too, you're going to be using 2019 income when you're filling out the FAFSA. So you're going to have those 1040s, your W-2s, 1099s, and assets for 2019. Now, to ensure the accuracy of your information, we strongly suggest using the IRS data retrieval tool. In most cases, you'll be able to use it. There are some cases that you won't be able to use it. We can talk about that. If you do have questions about that, you can write it in the comments and I will get you an answer there. But again, we strongly suggest, if you can, using the IRS data retrieval tool. And again, what happens there, it goes directly into the IRS website, takes your information from your taxes and puts it into the FAFSA for you. It is safe, it's secure, it's efficient. It will save you about 30 minutes when completing the FAFSA. Not only that, you'll include schools which you plan on applying to. You can add up to 10 schools on the FAFSA. So if you have 5 schools in mind, you can add those 5 schools. Now, if you have more than 10, you can only add 10 at that time. But after your FAFSA processes, which takes about 48 hours, you can go back in, take a couple schools out, and add the schools that you are interested in. Now, just to give you a heads up too, say, for example, you fill out the FAFSA in October, but a school approaches you and says, we want you to apply here because we want you to play a sport there, or potentially you have that you want to go to another school. If you didn't add that school to your list, you can go back in and make corrections to your FAFSA in December, and you can add that school. But just to give you a heads up, if you apply to a college and you never add that school to the FAFSA, they will not get your FAFSA information. You have to go back in and add that school and resubmit. Now, when I say resubmit, that does not mean you have to start the FAFSA all over again. It means that you just have to go back in, add that school, and push resubmit. Because a lot of people, what they do is they push save, and that just saves the FAFSA on that page. So again, you have to resubmit it. And also, you're going to have to obtain something called an FSA ID, which I talked about earlier. And this is called a Federal Student Aid ID. So this is your electronic signature to log on to the FAFSA, but also it is your username and password to log into the FAFSA, to sign it and also to log in. So let's talk about that FSA ID. Now, if you're a student who is dependent, which means you live with your parents. Now, in some cases, you might be an independent student, and we can talk about that throughout this presentation if you do have questions. But typically, you might live with a parent. So what you're going to have to do is obtain an active email address. Now, that means the student has to have one and the parent has to have one. So just to let you know, the parent and the student cannot use the same email address. And just give you a heads up, students, do not use your high school email address. Because if you're using your high school email address, just to let you know, that deactivates after you graduate. So if you ever forget your username and password and you try to send a code to that email address, you won't be able to check it. So again, use a personal email address. So a Google account or Gmail account, a Hotmail account, whatever you like to use. But again, do not use that high school email address because it will deactivate after you graduate. Be prepared to answer 4 security questions. For example, what is your mother's maiden name? What was your high school's mascot? Those are questions you might decide to use. Also, verify your cell phone number and email address when you're doing these things. Now, you have to do at least one of them. But I strongly suggest using both of them because phone numbers, they do change. And also, sometimes you can get locked out of your email address. So if you can, verify both of them, but you have to at least verify one. Now, just to let you know, when you're creating your FSA ID, it will time out after 10 minutes of inactivity. So again, make sure you're sitting there getting it done. And also write down your username and password. Keep it secure and safe. I strongly suggest keeping it with your taxes because again, you're going to be filling out the FAFSA every single year that you are in college. So strongly suggest writing it down, keeping it secure and safe. And And of course, don't give it to anybody because this is your username and password to log on to the FAFSA. So a lot of personal information is in this username and password. And just remember that if you're a student who lives with their parents, so you're a dependent student, you have to have one as a student and one of your parents, not both, but one of your parents has to have it. So what happens after the FAFSA? After you complete the FAFSA, you're going to get something called an EFC. It also stands for Expected Family Contribution. It is a result of FAFSA calculation used by a formula set by Congress, and it's a measure of how much the student and family can contribute to their education. Now, say, for example, your EFC, which is your Expected Family Contribution, is 0. That means that your family cannot pay for any of your education. Now, don't see that as a bad thing. For example, just to let you know, if your EFC is 0, that means you're going to be eligible for the full Pell Grant. And the full Pell Grant right now, which is a federal grant, is $6,345, which means you have $6,345 to go to college already for free. That is free money. You don't have to pay it back. But also, your EFC is what schools and the government use to determine your eligibility for need-based aid. So becoming eligible for that grant money. So you take your cost of attendance. Now, your cost of attendance, you're going to have direct costs and also your indirect costs. So your direct costs is going to be your tuition and fees, but also your room and board. Not only that, you also are going to have indirect costs, which is going to be transportation, books and supplies, and also miscellaneous, so potentially buying yourself a laptop for your classes. So what you do is you take your cost of attendance and you subtract it from your EFC, and that's what's going to get your financial needs. So how much money do you need to go to college still? So what happens after the FAFSA? So we talked about the EFC. After 48 hours, it should process, and you're going to get something called a student aid report, which details everything that you listed into the FAFSA. After that, you can make some updates and corrections. For example, if you need to add a school, you can do so. And then, of course, around March or April of the senior year, your students are going to start receiving award letters telling you how much money your schools are offering you. It can be grants, it can be scholarships, it can be loans. And, of course, you're going to have to potentially find out ways of paying unmet need. So covering unmet need. So you're potentially going to have to find another loan, taking out a PLUS loan or alternative loan, and potentially also professional judgment. So a couple of things where a professional judgment can be made. For example, we are in a time period where COVID-19 is where people have lost their jobs. Now, for example, you can get a professional judgment based off income. So if your parents have lost their jobs or potentially you have lost your job, that a professional judgment can be done on that. And also say, for example, you live in a household or you potentially will live with your aunt or uncle or your grandparents and you haven't seen your parents in the past 10 years. You can get something called a dependency override. And if that dependency override is selected or agreed upon at that university, you can actually be seen as an independent student. So again, professional judgments can be made in certain situations. So just reach out to your school after completing the FAFSA if you do need to get a professional judgment made. Now, you actually might be selected for verification. So for example, it's basically verification. It is a process that is made by the federal government or the school, and it confirms the accuracy of your information that's reported onto the FAFSA. So watch for notifications. So if you do get an email saying that you have been verified, make sure you do it as soon as possible. If you wait, it might be too late. For example, again, you might be in August, and the thing is, if you haven't done the verification process and the school says, hey, you need to do the verification process, but you never get it complete, that means you're not going to get your financial aid. So you're not going to get any grants. You potentially are not going to get any scholarships as well, because again, your schools can't give you out any money until you get through the verification process. So again, not everybody's selected for verification, but if you are selected for verification, make sure you do it as soon as possible. Sometimes verification comes out in December. It might come out in January. It might come out in February, March. Depends on what your school does. But if you are selected, again, fill it out as soon as possible. So let's talk about the type of aid that's available to you. So number one, like I mentioned earlier, is the federal Pell Grant. Now, the federal Pell Grant is the maximum right now for the 2021 school year is $6,345. Now, it can go up. So for the past couple of years, it has gone up. From last year to this year, it has gone up $150 almost. So again, right now, the Pell Grant is at $6,345. So if your EFC, expected family contribution, is 0, that means that you are eligible for that full Pell Grant, again, which is at $6,345. Also, if you're a need-based student, you might become eligible for something called the Federal Supplemental Educational Opportunity Grant. Now, just to let you know, that can be up to $4,000. But again, each institution is given a certain amount of money, so you might not see that full $4,000. I've never seen a student get $4,000. The highest I've ever seen a student get for that grant is about $900. Also, if you plan on going to become a teacher, there is a grant for that called the Teach Grant. Of course, you do have to serve as a full-time teacher in a high-need field like math or science, and at a public or private elementary or secondary school that serves low-income-based students. And of course, you can go to studentaid.ed.gov to find out more information there about that grant. And of course, you do have work study. Again, work study is when you work on campus. You can use that money towards your education, or you can actually get that money directly back to you in the form of a check. And also, you're going to have your loans. And we're going to talk about those loans in a few minutes. We also do have your state aid. Number one, if you plan on staying in the state of Kentucky, okay, so you plan on going to a 4-year public, 4-year private, or potentially you plan on going to the community college. Again, there are 16 community colleges in the state of Kentucky. And again, the closest one to you all in Warren County is South Central Kentucky Community and Technical College. Now, the closest public university is going to be Western Kentucky University. Now, just to let you know, if you plan on staying in the state of Kentucky, okay, and you're eligible for any money of that Pell Grant, you are also going to get that CAP grant. That CAP grant, again, is the College Access Program grant. If you go to the community college, you're going to be eligible for $2,000. So with that full Pell Grant, potentially, if you're eligible for that full Pell Grant and also that CAP grant, that means you have over $8,000 worth of free money to go to college. Not only that, if you decide to go to a 4-year public university in the state of Kentucky, again, WKU, the closest one being in Warren County, that's an extra $2,200 if you're eligible for any money of that Pell Grant. So potentially, you're going to have about $8,500 to go to that public university in the state of Kentucky. Now, if you leave the state of Kentucky, you will not get this grant because it has to stay in the state of Kentucky because it is a Kentucky grant. Now, if you decide to go to a 4-year public, 4-year private, again, you do get that $2,200. But also, if you decide to go to a private university in the state of Kentucky, you also get something called the Kentucky Tuition Grant. And right now, the Kentucky Tuition Grant can be up to $3,000. Right now, it is at $2,960, which is still pretty impressive. That's still money that you get for your education as well. And of course, you do have the dual credit scholarship. So students, if you are in high school right now, you are eligible for that dual credit scholarship. Number one is the dual credit scholarship, and number two is the Work Ready dual credit scholarship. And we're going to go into detail about those in a few minutes. But also, we are going to talk about KHEAA Money. So you can be earning KHEAA Money since your freshman year if you've been in Kentucky high school. And as long as you're in Kentucky high school for 140 days, you are eligible for that KHEAA Money. Also, you do have the Early Graduation Scholarship and also the Work Ready Kentucky Scholarship as well. So let's talk about that dual credit scholarship. So if you're a high school student and you plan on taking a dual credit class while you are in high school, now, just to let you know, if you plan on using the regular dual credit scholarship, you get 2 of these in your academic career. Okay, so again, 2. You could take them in your junior or your senior year. So that means potentially you might take one your junior year, you might take one your senior year. Now, if you use both of those dual credit options, your junior year, you don't get to take, you can take dual credit, but you won't have that dual credit scholarship. So again, you get two dual credit scholarships while you are in high school. Not each year. Again, that's academic career. Also, you have the Work Ready dual credit scholarship. Now, this allows students to take career and technical educational classes while they are in high school. And again, they get 2 per year, freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior year. Okay, so if they plan on taking a career and technical education class for dual credit and they take it their freshman year, they can get 2 dual credit classes for free if it is a career and technical education class. So again, If you're taking potentially speech, you're taking English, you're taking math, you are taking a history course, you can use the regular dual credit class for that. But if you're going into the Work Ready Kentucky Dual Credit Scholarship, it's going to be potentially advanced manufacturing, a healthcare class, construction class, a welding course. So again, just to let you know, you do get 2 courses per year for the Work Ready Kentucky Dual Credit Scholarship. So let's talk about KHEAA Money. So students who are in a Kentucky high school, say for example, you are at a Kentucky Warren County High School, okay, or potentially Bowling Green High School. So depending on where you're at. Just to let you know, if you maintain a 2.5 GPA your freshman year, we're going to give you some money. So for a 2.5 GPA, we're going to give you $125. But if you get a 4.0 GPA, we are going to give you $500. So say, for example, you keep that GPA, that 4.0 GPA, every single year that you are in high school for 4 years. That's 500 times 4. That's $2,000. But also, we're going to give you a bonus. So if you had a 4.0 GPA and you got a 28 on the ACT, we're going to give you an extra $500. Now, this is a one-time bonus. Okay, a one-time bonus, so we take your highest score. So for example, if you've taken the ACT 5 times and your highest score is a 28, we're going to give you a 28. So that bonus for a 28, which is $500. So that's $2,500, 4-year 4.0 and a 20 on the ACT, that's $2,000 plus $500, that is $2,500. We're going to times that by 4 though, for 4 years of college, because again, you're getting $2,500 for your freshman year, your sophomore year, your junior year, and your senior year of college, college, yes. So again, that's a $10,000 scholarship that you're receiving from the state of Kentucky to go to college if you're going to a Kentucky public, private, or a community college. So just to give you a heads up, this is a big deal. Because again, your KEAA does stand for the Kentucky Educational Excellence Scholarship, and it is funded by the Kentucky Lottery. But also, we're going to provide a bonus. If you are a free reduced lunch student, so again, a free reduced lunch student, not the whole school, you have to qualify it for yourself, okay? So again, if you qualify for a free reduced lunch and you take an AP exam and you pass the AP exam with a 3, we're going to give you $200. If you pass the AP exam with a 4, we're going to give you $250. If you pass the AP exam with a 5, we're going to give you $300. And there's no limit to how many AP classes that you can take. So say, for example, you pass 5 AP exams, all of them with 3s. That's $200 times 5. That's an extra $1,000. So instead of potentially getting $2,500, you're looking at $3,500. You times it by 4 for 4 years of college, you're looking at a $14,000 scholarship from the state of Kentucky. It's pretty impressive. Now also, let's answer some common questions we get about KEAA Money. So where can I use my KEAA Money? You can use your KEAA Money at a certified Kentucky college or university. So if you plan on going to the community college, you plan on going to a 4-year public or 4-year private in the state of Kentucky, you can use your KEAA Money. Now, just to give you a heads up, you do have to use it in the state of Kentucky. There is one exemption though, and that is called our academic common market. Say, for example, Kentucky does not offer your major. If Kentucky does not offer your major and you're a part of our academic common market, say, for example, you want to major in marine biology. Just to give you a heads up, there's no school in the state of Kentucky that offers marine biology besides Thomas More University, but that is freshwater. It's not ocean marine biology. So say, for example, you want to go into ocean marine biology. Kentucky does not offer that. But if you go to a school that's in our academic common market, you can actually take your KEAA Money there. It is an application process for that process there. But again, you would have to go to one of our schools that's in our academic common market. And of course, if you go to cpe.ky.gov, again, that website is cpe.ky.gov, it will tell you what majors Kentucky does not offer and what schools does offer that's in our academic common market. Now, you have a 5-year span to use your KEAA Money, but you can only use it 4 times. So say, for example, you take a year off after high school. you still have 4 years to use your KHEAA money. Now, just to give you a heads up, if you don't go to college after 5 years, that KHEAA money is completely gone. Now, of course, how do I receive my KHEAA award? The money goes directly to your colleges and your universities. So what happens is, say that you want to go to a 4-year public university in the state of Kentucky. They'll contact us, and we provide the money directly to your school. So there's no process for you all to apply for this scholarship or tell us where you're going, because again, the school will contact us, and we will send the money directly to your school that you plan on going to. Now, do I have to have a minimum GPA while I'm in college to keep my KHEAA money? The answer is yes. For example, your freshman year, you have to maintain a 2.5 GPA to keep your KHEAA money. Your sophomore year, junior year, and senior year of college, it is a 3.0, which is a B average. Now, if you go below that 3.0 GPA, you can lose your KHEAA money. Now, just to give you a heads up, if you're staying on track to graduate, though, and you have a 2.5 to a 2.99 GPA, you can keep your KHEAA money if you're staying on track. Now, of course, say, for example, you do lose that KHEAA money and your GPA goes back up, a 3.0 GPA your sophomore, junior, and senior year of college, you can get your KHEAA money back, which is pretty exciting. So keep those grades up. Also, to get the scholarship, do I have to be enrolled full-time in college or technical school? The answer is yes. For example, if you want the full amount of KHEAA money, you do have to be enrolled full-time. And what makes you full-time is 12 hours per semester. But of course, we always suggest potentially taking 15 hours because it's called 15 to finish. If you've never taken a dual credit class, you've never taken a AP class and passed that AP exam, just to let you know, you potentially need that 15 hours per semester to graduate. And if not, potentially you might take a summer course and that might give you your 15. But again, you need to have 15 hours per semester to graduate unless you've taken a summer course, a winter course, or potentially a dual credit / AP exam and pass that AP exam. Also, one of the things that's really new, it's been out for about 1.5 years now, is your keys for registered apprenticeships. Just to let you know, if you have an approved apprenticeship in the state of Kentucky, and it has to come from the Kentucky Education and Workforce Development Cabinet. Again, it has to be an approved apprenticeship through the Kentucky Education and Workforce Development Cabinet. So what happens here is we reimburse you. So say, for example, you have $2,000 worth of KHEAA money, and you have $1,800 worth of expenses for your apprenticeship. So books, supplies, you need some money potentially for some boots for your job. So again, we will reimburse you for your KHEAA money if you plan on going that route. So again, you can use your KHEAA money towards college, or you can actually use it towards an approved apprenticeship in the state of Kentucky. So again, it is a reimbursement form. And of course, you need to complete a registered apprenticeship reimbursement pathway form and submit it to KHEAA by August 1st. So again, make sure you do that. But of course, we do reimburse you. So again, if you have $2,000 worth of KHEAA money and you have $1,800 worth of expenses, we will reimburse you for that $1,800. We also have the Work Ready Kentucky Scholarship. Now, I'll give you a heads up. This is actually one of my favorite scholarships that Kentucky has to offer. And this is for anybody, not just for seniors. So if you are 35 years old and you want to go back to college and you've never gotten an associate's degree, this is a perfect opportunity for you. So again, if you never got above an associate's degree, this is a perfect opportunity for you. So the Work Ready Kentucky Scholarship helps Kentuckians who have not earned an associate's degree afford an industry recognized certificate, diploma, or associate's in applied science. Number one, though, you must fill out the FAFSA. Because again, this is a last resort scholarship. They take your grant money first. They take potentially your KHEAA money. But then again, say, for example, you are not eligible for any grant money because you made too much money in 2019. Just to give you a heads up, again, this is a last resort scholarship. This will help pay for your tuition at a community college. Now, it does help pay for a 4-year if you're going for an associate's or certification or diploma at a 4-year public, 4-year private. But again, it won't pay for the full tuition at those universities and colleges that are 4-year. But again, it does help pay for tuition at a community college. So the qualifying areas for 2021-22. So again, for 21-22, the school year there, it's going to be healthcare, advanced manufacturing, transportation logistics, business services and IT, and also construction. And of course, again, you have to be, you can't have an associate's degree already. So again, you have to potentially be working for a certification, diploma, associate's applied science for the first time, okay, who have not earned an associate's degree for an industrially recognized certification, diploma, or associate in applied science. And just to give you a heads up, if you plan on applying for the Work Ready Kentucky Scholarship, which you can apply at KHEAA.com, which is at the very bottom of your screen right here, you'll have to log into your My KHEAA account, and it takes about 5 minutes to fill the application out. You have to tell us the name of the school that you want to go to, also what field you want to go into as well. Again, it takes about 5 minutes to fill that application out. But just to give you a heads up, this application, so if you plan on going to college in the 21-22 school year, this application for the Work Ready Kentucky Scholarship will not open up until May 2021. So if you're going to head and apply for this scholarship, you're actually applying for the 2021 school year. But again, you want to apply for the 21-22 school year. And again, that doesn't open up until May 2021. So let's talk about loans. And of course, I know a lot of people don't like talking about loans, but it is an option available for students. So you're going to have two different types of federal direct loans. Number one is going to be your direct loans, which is going to be your subsidized or unsubsidized loans. Now, just to let you know, if you are a need-based student, you're going to be eligible for a subsidized loan. Now, just to let you know, if you take out a subsidized loan, there is no interest on that loan until you actually are finished with school or you leave the school. So you don't start paying that interest back until after you leave the school and also potentially when you're graduating from the school. So there's no interest that occurs while you are in school, which is a huge benefit. But of course, if you're taking out an unsubsidized loan, the interest starts happening while you are in school, okay? Now, also, you're going to have your PLUS loans. Now, your PLUS loans is a parent loan. It's not for the student, so it's always going to be in the parent's name. So if your parents take out a $10,000 loan for you to go to college, it's not in your name, it's in their name. Be careful, though. Make smart decisions. You don't want to put your parents in debt. Now, here are some information about your loan. So subsidized, unsubsidized loan, the student takes that out. The PLUS loan is for that parent. There are some loan limits. We'll talk about those loan limits in a second for subsidized, unsubsidized, but PLUS loan is cost of attendance. So say, for example, you plan on going to a university that costs $45,000. You're not receiving any aid, any scholarships. Hopefully you will. Potentially, if it costs $45,000, your parents can take out a $45,000 loan out for you. Again, there is a credit review check on that. So again, you could be denied that loan. But just give you a heads up, the interest rate for subsidized, unsubsidized is at 2.75%. And of course, for a PLUS loan, it's at a 5.3. Just to give you another heads up, this is the cheapest I've ever seen it. So it might be the perfect time to go to college because again, these loans are have very low interest rates right now. And of course, again, there is no credit check or review done for subsidized, unsubsidized. So when you're looking at your subsidized, unsubsidized loans, if you're a dependent student, your first year, you can take out $5,500 for loans. If you're an independent student, it is $9,500. Now, it does go up per year by $1,000, but in your third year and so forth, it is $7,500. So it stays that way. And of course, for if you're independent, it's $12,500. So your junior year and potentially your senior year, it's going to be $7,500. But there is a limit. Okay. So for example, if you're a dependent student, you can only take out $31,000. If you're an independent student, it's going to be $57,500. So here's one of my favorite slides I like to talk to students about, because again, if you have to think smart about affordability. So say, for example, you're going to take out $15,000 worth of, okay, so when you say your expected salary, let's go with that. Your expected salary after the time you graduate college is going to be $50,000. That means that your maximum manageable monthly payment for loans is going to be $416, which means that you should only take out about $43,600 worth of loans, okay? Now, you have to be very careful with that because, again, you're paying this back after 6 months after you graduate, okay? So you have to be smart on how much money you are taking out in loans. And say, for example, you decide to take out $100,000 worth of loans. That means your monthly payment is probably going to be $954, which means by the time you're paying it back, you're paying $114,493. That's $14,000 worth of interest right there that you're going to have to worry about. So again, make smart decisions, find the perfect school for you, but also think about affordability. So here's a case study. So you have a 12th grader. They're a dependent student, which means they live with their parents. They're a Kentucky resident. Parents are married. They file a joint tax return. They have one sibling. There's 4 IRS exemptions. There are 4 people in the household. Age of the oldest parent is 46, and the student income is 0. So these are all things that the FAFSA actually looks into. So again, when you're filling out the FAFSA, they're going to ask these kind of questions. So here's an example. You have a community college, you have a 4-year public, and also you have a 4-year private in the state of Kentucky. Okay, so your expected family contribution, which is how much the government and the school believes that you can pay for your education, is $2,120. Sorry about that, you all. It is $2,120. It is believed that you can pay $2,120 of your education already. And then we add the federal Pell Grant because you are eligible for some money. As you can see here, you're eligible for $4,195. Again, that is free money for you to go to college. Now, since these are Kentucky schools, you're also going to get your CAP grant. So again, at the community college, you get $2,000. At a 4-year public, 4-year private in the state of Kentucky, you're also going to get the CAP grant, but it's going to be $2,200. You go forth. You also have the Kentucky tuition grant. Again, that's only for private schools in the state of Kentucky. So it is $2,960. And then the student has $1,500 worth of KHEAA money. I'm kind of disappointed in that, but they could have tried a little bit better while they were in high school. But again, they got $1,500, which is still pretty impressive. So you also are going to have institutional aid. You potentially are going to get $3,000 at a community college. You're potentially going to get $7,500 at a public university, 4-year public. And then, of course, potentially $18,000 at a private university. So again, just to give you a heads up, watch out for those academic scholarships, see how much your schools are offering you. And then potentially you're going to have your loans, okay? At the community college, you potentially are going to only have to take out $2,378. And then, of course, at your public and your 4-year private, it could be potentially that $5,500 limit for your freshman year. And then you can see here, remaining need at those universities and colleges. Now, just to give you a heads up, remember, you're going to have to look for that $2,120 because that's your EFC, but not also you have that remaining need as well. So here's an example of an award letter that potentially you're going to receive your senior year. It's going to tell you how much institutional aid you're going to receive from your universities based off of grants, loans, and also scholarships. Now, again, remember that these loans are something you have to pay back. They're not free, okay? So your Pell Grant, that student is eligible for $4,195, but it is split by semesters. So for the fall, they get $2,097. For the spring, it is $2,098. And typically it is split in half, okay? So again, it might be $1 off, but again, it's split in half evenly. CAP Grant, again, is $1,100 for the fall, and the same for the spring. KTG, since it's a private university. And then, of course, KHEAA money, split in half, institutional aid. And then, of course, you do have your loans, which are split evenly in half as well for unsubsidized and also subsidized loans. And again, but you still have to find that difference, which again, right here is $4,972. So you're still going to have to find $4,972 to go to college. So what can you do to figure out how to pay for that unmet need? Number one is look into private scholarships. Apply for local, regional, state, and national scholarships. Look into your employer benefits. Check to see if your employers offer any type of scholarship or your parents' employers offer any type of scholarships. Also, tuition payment plans. Potentially, you might have $2,000 left over that you have to pay, and you're paying monthly, maybe like $200, $300 a month until you get it paid off. And of course, there's also alternative loan options. And one of those loan options is called the Kentucky Advantage Loan. It is a loan for students or parents to help pay for your education. It's at a fixed interest rate as low as a 3.5. And just to let you know, it does not go above a 6.99, which is pretty exciting. But of course, a credit check is required. And there are 3 different types of repayment: immediate repayment with interest only, postponed repayment as well. And of course, there's a 6-month grace period with interest only or postponed repayment. So not all of them will have that, but again, with 6-month grace period with interest only or postponed repayment. Now, just to give you a heads up, you can apply for the Kentucky Advantage loan at advantageeducationloan.com, and you can find some more information about that loan on that website. So in case you have some unmet need and you want to look into that loan, you can look into that loan. Now, just to let you know, there are several universities in the state of Kentucky, and there are 8 public universities. There are 16 community colleges, and also you're going to have your private universities as well. So again, several different options available to you to go to college. And of course, I'm going to show you a map of where these colleges are at. So you're going to have your 4-year public universities. You're going to have your nonprofit private colleges or universities. You're going to have your community colleges, your Kentucky Tech schools, and of course, seminary schools. And then of course, you're going to have your for-profit universities. And then of course, your non-degree for-profit universities as well and colleges. So again, you have several different options that are available to you as a Kentuckian to go to college. So look into your options. So again, if you think a public school is going to be a great option for you, look into that. You think the community college is going to be a good option for you, go for that. And then also, if you think a private school is a good option for you, please look into that as well. Now, we always say aim for that 15 hours per semester, like I told you earlier. 12 hours makes you full-time, but at the same time, you want to make sure that you are trying to graduate in 4 years. Try to schedule your core classes first, meet with an advisor to map out your plan, look over the curriculum, and figure out what you need to be taking each year. Also, I strongly suggest that anyone who plans on going to college and they say, hey, sign up for an early registration date, sign up for that early registration date. You don't want to find out that all the classes you want to take are taken because you waited until late July to register for your classes. So again, if there's an early registration date in March, April, or May, make sure you do that. Also, we do have a great tool on our KHEAA website. It is called Getting the Facts. It allows you to pick up 6 different universities and colleges in the United States, not just Kentucky. So if you log into your My KHEAA account, which you can find at KHEAA.com, you can actually use Getting the Facts. And it tells you how much those schools are going to cost you. So it gives you a heads up. It tells you out-of-state costs. So again, if you leave the state of Kentucky, you might be paying that out-of-state tuition cost. So look into that detail there. And of course, it helps families make informed decisions about their higher education options. So again, I like this because it gives you a view about what your colleges are going to cost you, and also tells you how much aid that you're going to get at those universities and colleges as well. Like I mentioned earlier, we do have our website, KHEAA.com, which has been scrolling at the very bottom of the screen for the past 53 minutes. But yes, so you do have your options. You have career and college exploration you can do on our website. We have some financial aid information on our website. We also have our FAFSA checklist. If you go to publications and you're a senior and you want a FAFSA checklist, go to our publications and you can find our checklist, and it tells you everything that is needed to complete the FAFSA. It would also help you show you if you're a dependent student or an independent student as well. And of course, we're going to have our scholarship searches on our website. We have distance and online learning. All of our publications are on our website. And of course, if you're verified through KHEAA, you can use KHEAA Verify. And of course, you can always check your KEYS money on our website too. So if you've been a Kentucky student and you want to know how much money you earned your freshman, sophomore, junior year, or senior year of high school, you can actually go to that website and you will see how much KEYS money you've been earning. Again, you can log into your My KHEAA account, which is at the very top of that screen. If you go to KHEAA.com, it will say sign in, and you can click that. If you haven't made an account before, you can say register. Now, I'll give you a heads up, a couple of things you should be doing this fall. Research your colleges and conduct campus visits. Now, not all your schools are going to be open because of COVID. So again, you might want to reach out to see if there's a virtual tour you can do, or maybe you want to talk to an admissions counselor. You can do that. Also, you can attend some campus preview nights and some college fairs. A lot of the college fairs this year are going virtual, so please look out for those opportunities coming up in Warren County potentially, and also in the state of Kentucky. Put some final touches on your scholarship and college essays. Again, perfect those essays. Make sure they're good. Have somebody revise them. They might catch something that you didn't catch. Also, complete admissions applications by deadline. Please watch those deadlines because you don't want to miss those scholarship deadlines. Also, for financial aid, attend a financial aid workshop, which you're doing right now. So congratulations there. And of course, I might be at your high school doing one of these as well. Apply for scholarships through the College Financial Aid Office, okay? And then also research scholarship opportunities through KHEAA.com, fastweb.com, also scholarships.com, or potentially any other scholarship resource you have. And of course, make sure you fill out the FAFSA. And again, the FAFSA opens up October 1st. So again, it opens up October 1st for people or students who are going to college for the 21-22 school year. For more information about financial aid, you can go to collegeboard.org, studentaid.ed.gov. That is the federal student aid website. FAFSA.gov to complete that FAFSA. kysaves.com for the savings plan trust in the state of Kentucky. And then fsaid.ed.gov. That is going to be to create your FSA ID. And then, of course, you're going to have KentuckyGoesToCollege.com, where you're going to find some very informative information about Kentucky schools. Thank you all for coming out today. I'm really excited that I got to meet with you guys. Thank you to the Warren County Public Library for inviting me in to talk to you about financial aid, the college application process. I appreciate that. But if you want some more information, okay, so for example, you want to learn about ACT dates, you potentially want to learn more about the FAFSA, you can actually text us. So if you text outreach to 1-800-928-8926, if you text outreach to 1-800-928-8926, we can provide you some texts and reminders about resources, so ACT days, or potentially some of our chats that we've been having on Facebook, Instagram, and also Twitter. Also, we will remind you about the FAFSA as well, so give you a heads up about that. You're like, oh no, it's October 1st, I need to fill out the FAFSA. But also, you can also follow me on Twitter. My name on Twitter, my Twitter handle is John_KHEAA. Please feel free to contact me that way. And also, just to let you know, we are on a lot of major social media platforms. So if you want to find us on Facebook, you can look up KHEAA, so Kentucky Higher Education Assistance Authority. Again, it's going to be facebook.com/KHEAA, KHEAA. You can find us there. On Twitter, we are at KHEAA. Our handle is at KHEAA there. On Instagram, we are at KHEAA Outreach. And of course, on Snapchat, we are at KHEAA Outreach as well. So again, thank you for letting me come in to talk to you all today. Again, please feel free to explore the KHEAA website. If you do have questions or concerns, please reach out to me, and I'm here to help you out. But thank you all for coming. I hope you all have a great day. See ya.